The News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The second day of the Duterte Legacy Summit is now ongoing. But before today's event, President Rodrigo Duterte met with his entire cabinet last night for one last meeting. To give us updates, we have now Maricel Halili joining us live from the PICC in Pasay City. Good morning, Maricel. Could you walk us through the agenda of last night's meeting?
At nagpapasalamat ako kay Secretary Bebo.
Good morning, Charles. Last night, President Duterte led the last cabinet meeting under his administration. It was a full cabinet meeting. All cabinet secretaries gave their final report, the accomplishment of their departments to the President. We asked Cabinet Secretary Melvin Matibag earlier what was the reaction of the President after the final report given by the cabinet secretaries. He said that the President was very satisfied with all the accomplishments of all the departments under the executive department. He said that he was also thankful for all the sacrifices of his cabinet secretaries.
And Maricel, could you tell us who were present for last night's last cabinet meeting? All present ba?
Ay napakataas sa gitna ng pandemya.
I'm sorry, Charles, can you repeat the question?
Oh, could you tell us who were present for last night's cabinet meeting? Were all cabinet members present?
And 81% are fully vaccinated.
Yes, Charles, it was a full cabinet meeting. All cabinet secretaries were present. And after the cabinet meeting, all their spouses were also invited for a Thanksgiving dinner sponsored by President Duterte himself.
Right, talking about this meeting, I understand that the allies of President Duterte supposedly held a despedida for the outgoing chief executive. Could you give us more info on this?
Sa medical and allied health sciences.
That's right, Charles. It was more of a Thanksgiving dinner, a despedida party for all the cabinet secretaries. As a matter of fact, they even invited the Philharmonic Orchestra to serenade all the cabinet secretaries and their spouses. President Duterte even sang a song before the cabinet. It was his way of thanking all his cabinet secretaries and as well as the spouses of these cabinet secretaries. President Duterte said that he is really thankful with the spouses of the cabinet secretaries because they let their spouses, their partners, to be part of the government for 6 years. After the Thanksgiving party, the despedida party last night, Secretary Melvin Matibag said that he is not sure whether the President will attend another gathering to thank all his partners under this government. But they are actually inviting the President to attend a Thanksgiving party of PDP Laban for all their candidates who have won during the 2022 elections.
So much for last night, Maricel. Could you tell us what's the latest over there at the PICC? I can hear that the program is ongoing.
The UAAP and NCAA.
Yes, you're right, Charles. The program is ongoing. This is the last day of the Duterte Legacy Summit. Earlier today, Health Secretary Francisco Duque has already given his presentation about the accomplishment of the Department of Health. He emphasized that one of the highlights of the achievement of their department is the passage of the Universal Health Care Law and the implementation of the maximum retail price when it comes to the prices of medicines. He said that they have implemented at most 93% decrease when it comes to the prices of significant medicine or crucial medicines crucial to the health of the Filipino people. Now, you can see at the back that CHED Chairperson Prospero de Vera is now presenting all the accomplishments of the Commission on Higher Education. He said earlier that the number of universities that are now included in the international ranking of top universities has already increased to 300%. So it's a huge improvement when it comes to the quality of education in the tertiary level.
Thanks for those updates, Maricel. That was Maricel Halili reporting live from the PICC in Pasay. Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Babes Romualdez, says President-elect Bongbong Marcos has always seen the United States as a friend and ally. Romualdez tells the chiefs that Marcos Jr. is more concerned about strengthening the country's economic ties with both the U.S. and China. Romualdez says the president-elect is eyeing to pursue the independent foreign policy started by outgoing President Duterte. And the ambassador says the government will also be looking at the Mutual Defense Treaty as merely a tool in defending our country's territorial rights in the future if needed. And as for the Visiting Forces Agreement between the U.S. and the Philippines, Romualdez says Marcos Jr. is eyeing to continue this and even, quote, redefine it by improving in some areas such as training and equipment.
Red definition of the VFA is basically to continue the VFA, but at the same time redefine it in what areas we can improve during the time of President or now during President Duterte's term. We abrogated or we suspended the Visiting Forces Agreement, so all the plans for having the training exercises were completely suspended until it was reinstated. So that is probably what by red definition would be to just simply see where we can improve or do something about the VFA in terms of our joint exercises and also in relation to the Mutual Defense Treaty.
Incoming DSWD Secretary Erwin Tulfo says he will prioritize giving aid to senior citizens and PWDs. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, Tulfo revealed that he's planning to raise the financial assistance received by the elderly and PWDs to up to 1,500 pesos. He also assured the public that the DSWD will provide aid not just to those in Metro Manila, but also to those in other regions.
I promise you, Jovi and Maricel, hindi lang dito sa Metro Manila, kundi sa lahat ng regions and provinces. I will pag nakaupo tayo, awa ng Diyos, by July, I will give an instruction na bubuksan yung gate at papasukin yung mga tao pag kailangan ng tulong, ng mga nagugutom, medical assistance, papasukin at kausapin. Hindi na magtatayo ako ng hotline ko, yung Facebook page ko, na pwede sila reklamo doon na ako ay pinagalitan, ako hindi binigyan ng tulong. Nagiging open tayo.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Incoming Finance Chief Ben Diokno is pushing through with imposing taxes on digital transactions and streaming services. How will this affect our digital spending habit? Mon Gualvez reports.
For 25-year-old Rema, everything she needs at home, she now buys online. But her habit of adding to cart and clicking buy now may soon slow down. That's as the incoming government mulls taxing online transactions.
Parang ang bigat. Diba? Yung mga binibili lang din naman namin, ako, online, is yung maliliit lang din naman. Tapos kung lalagyan, papatungan mo pa siya ng tax. Lalaki siya lalo.
Streaming services might also be slapped with levies, a bummer for Liam, a 22-year-old Netflix subscriber.
150 a month, per month na yung binabayaran mo. Tapos hindi mo pa nasusulit kasi di ako naman ako everyday nagna-Netflix, and di ko naman buong araw kasi syempre may trabaho din.
According to incumbent Central Bank Governor Benjamin Diokno, he plans to push through with imposing taxes on digital transactions and streaming services once he sits as Finance Secretary. In a statement, Diokno said that it is the inherent characteristic of taxes to be fair to all and should encompass transactions of all modalities. Veteran banker Isidro Alcantara, the former president and CEO of the Philippine Bank of Communications, supports this, but he has concerns over implementation.
The problem is operationally, the payments are not caught because it's online transfers, etc.
There is a current bill languishing in the Senate pushing for a 12% value-added tax on digital service providers. The DOF estimates a 10 billion peso yearly revenue should the measure be passed. But groups like Kilusang Mayo Uno have been wary of expanding taxes to pay the country's mounting debt.
Di pa nga namin nakukuha yung dagdag na sweldo na matagal namin ipinaglaban, kakarampot na nga, wala na, kinain na kagad nung bagong inflation rate. Tapos ngayon may panibago pang planong buwis.
The pandemic has forced the country to ramp up borrowing, pushing the debt pile to a record high as of March at 12.68 trillion pesos, an amount which government hopes to settle by imposing new taxes. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
The Ateneo Lady Eagles drew first blood against the UST Tigresses in their second round duel in the UAAP Women's Volleyball League earlier today. After struggling with their reception early in the first set, Faith Nisperos and the rest of the Ateneo team bounced back to win the first set 25-20. Coming into today's game from a loss to NU, Ateneo is looking for redemption and their fifth win in 10 matches. Recall that UST defeated Ateneo during their first round encounter, albeit in 4 hard-fought sets. And UST will have to recover in the coming sets if they plan on sweeping the Lady Eagles after getting their 7th victory in 9 games today. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.